Well, hello everybody. Figured I'd do something different today. I was going to make a video, but I've been watching some of these videos on Asus's RMA process. I want to get in my couple cents to it, and whoever joins in the process will watch the chats here live, and we'll see what's going to be said about it. But I want to give you a little backstory, if I can give you a little backstory. So I want y'all to stick along with me to the end of this, because this backstory is going to be interesting for you. Okay, my experience from, let's say, with Amazon back from 1994 to now. Back then, I can tell you the RMA process was bad. It wasn't as great as it is now. It's getting better. But back then, it was really bad. Okay, I would buy a product and it didn't work for maybe 24 hours. And I was going back and forth on PC parts. And turn around, I sent it back. And this was a motherboard. This was, I can't remember the name now. It's been so long ago, but I'm getting to the point of this. Back then, you have different manufacturers for different motherboards for like AMD or Intel. Okay, and thing is this. Oh yeah, I remember it was Foxconn. I bought it off of Amazon. Turned around. It didn't last long. So I sent it back to Amazon. And what happened there is I went into an RMA fight. It's because then they say, oh, there was a scratch on the motherboard. Oh, there was this. There was water damage and this and that. And they weren't going to cover the warranty. And I replied to them and said, look, I have pictures. I have everything documented A to Z. That's not why I sent it back. I sent it back because the coprocessor wasn't working. It was causing a bunch of errors. And I wrote it down, the problems I'm having. And I just wanted a replacement. And then they replied back to me. I really wish I would have saved that information, but I didn't. Back then I wasn't on YouTube, so, you know. This was back when I was down in Florida. So we went back and forth for a couple days, and turned around, they said, okay, this is what we're going to do. Since you bought the warranty, we're going to go ahead and ship you a new motherboard. Well, they shipped me a new motherboard, all right. They didn't ship it in the original box. They didn't ship that. They didn't ship anything that came along with it. You know, the software and everything else that they used to do back in the days. They used to put the CD in there for the motherboard, you know, because back then, you know, everything with the drivers and utilities and stuff were all on CDs. But they didn't ship anything with it. They just shipped back the motherboard. So I get in contact with them again. I say, hey, look, you guys didn't ship me any of the stuff that goes with the motherboard. And then they said to me, well, you didn't send any of the driver software and everything. You didn't send none of the CDs, none of the parts, nothing back with the motherboard. And I says, I have a picture of what's inside the box. And you got everything from A to Z, even the book. So you guys owe me all the fixings inside. The CD drivers, the power connectors and stuff, the connections and stuff like that. Everything that I sent. I paid for this. So they said, okay. So they told me to send back that motherboard, and they're going to send me a brand new box. And this went on for at least 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Because the next motherboard they sent me back, turned around, it was the same motherboard I sent them. And I said, what's this? You sent me back my original motherboard? It's because I write the numbers down of the motherboard. It's got a little code there that's on the motherboard. You make sure you write down the numbers so you know if you're getting a new one or an old one. You understand? So, as long as everybody understands that, So, they turn around, they sent me another shipping label. And I told them specifically, this time, send me a brand new motherboard with unopened. I want the whole 900 yards inside that box with it plastic wrapped. So, I sent back the old motherboard. They sent me a new one. And this time, they actually finally did it after 2 weeks. So, the moral of this story is, not all companies are saints. Amazon's not a saint. Newegg's not a saint. Micro Center's not a saint. They're all not a saint. And I know AMD's not, Intel's not, I know Nvidia's not. You're going to wind up with some kind of problem somewhere. But as time progresses, time goes along, I went through a couple RMAs with Amazon and, same song and dance. So, but do you see me today? Do you see me today? And I'm going to state this. Do you see me today complaining about it? No. Because they've gotten better. They've taken these bumps and grinds that they get and they improve themselves over time. Sometimes some companies just think about it's just about the money. And they don't think about their consumers, which I do agree with everybody, and I really do agree with that. And I know Asus is not a saint when it comes to this. I know they did a formal apology to Gamers Nexus. I kind of used those. I used a couple of his photos right there for what's going on with him. I'm sure you guys know the videos, and sure you can get to the videos, so I didn't link them. So, but I listened to what he said on their RMA process, and it kind of brought some light to me. Brought me back to the light back in the day when it come to Amazon. Same thing. Kind of brought me into light recently dealing with that company over in China. When they were supposed to send me 2 motherboards, 2 sets of RAM, 2 processors, the whole 900 yards. But they only sent me 1 and charged me for 2. So I had to fight to get that back. You know, the money for the one. All I'm saying is all companies have their issues when it comes to the RMA process. There's always going to be a fight because what's been happening now these days is these companies, they get scammed. If you've been looking at some recent news on the returns for Amazon, that people were RMAing their stuff, but they're sending the wrong product back. That makes it bad for the honest consumers when that comes to that light. I'm just going to bring that point really clear. That really makes it bad for the honest consumer that just wants to get a decent product instead of getting a bunch of headaches. I understand the problem with the headaches. I really do. I've went through several of them over 30 plus years of doing PC work. But that's the reason why the last couple of years I've been doing my YouTube as well. Is to shed light on the BS and bring everybody back into light the way PCs used to be. But now it doesn't seem like it's being put into the right light. It seems everybody keeps going off to the left when it comes to PCs. Even the companies are going off to the left with the RMAs. Asus isn't the only one. Gigabyte, if you heard some news on Gigabyte, and they're having that same RMA issue. MSI is having that same RMA issue. ASRock tries to stay out of the light because they do everything, But I know ASRock has had their share of the same thing. Dealing with the RMA process. I know I said to everybody that today is going to, and I know I did this video I'm doing this video last minute, but I want to bring to light what I feel that's happening with the RMA process. I could be wrong, but I think that this should have been handled a little bit better before sending a product back to a company, and investigated the company a little bit more to find out the real truth. Okay? One, I can tell you this, I didn't hear anybody recently going to their company to see how they do the RMA process. That's one. Didn't see anything about it. Two, we don't know that if that their RMA process center is half robotic. They put everything and they scan everything in, and then they put everything in certain bins, and then the robot sorts it out and then gives it to the tech and stuff like that. I have heard about that. I've heard some companies are doing that, to where they would scan in what the issues are, and then the autonomous system would take and turn around and, set everything into where it needs to be. And also, too, that with the RMA process that some of these companies are using, it's all AI generated. So the kind of responses that you're going to get from these companies are probably not going to be human responses. That's another problem. And now they're taking away the phone number to where you can't call them to talk to them anymore. This is the problem. because you can't directly talk to these people. You got to either email them or, or talk to their robot online. But you're not talking to an actual person. That's why the RMA process is so bad for the consumer. Is because they get frustrated because they got nobody to talk to, nobody to handle that call, other than an AI robot that's trained to accept the messaging that we give them and for them to respond to that in their programming. And then that order gets shipped on, you get a label sent to you, and then you send back the product. Guess what? The computer scans the label, puts yours into a category, and then boom. Either gets fixed by man or machine. Who knows? So usually when they say something comes back into pieces, usually it means that there's not an actual live tech doing the process. Means there's actually probably they put it under a microscope with the machine to pull it apart, to go through all the components, and then put it back together. Who knows? They do have it, and it is out there, and it's something we all need to accept. And that's the reason why I made this, this live stream today, is because for me, looking at somebody saying, oh, this company's a scam, oh, this company's a scam, this company's a scam, I'm not going to say that. I know there's many people that have problems with companies. Okay, this is the nature of the beast. This is what happens in the world today. Is because there's so many complex things that are happening in the background. There are things we can't control. Like when it comes to RMA process. Yes, don't give up fighting. Fight for your free repair. Don't give up fighting. And if you've taken pictures and you've done your homework before you send that product to them, they can't come back and say, well, hey, you broke it. And you say, I went and I took pictures. I got videos. I got everything that's wrapped up into a nutshell, every nook and cranny. So you could either repair what I sent it in for, or you can send the product back to me and we can go to court. But if you send it back to me in pieces, this is what I'm going to show the judge. You sent a product that was assembled together back to me in pieces. Look, I'm not like everybody else. When it comes to, RMAing a product, I'll get right down to the point. I won't beat around with some computer. And if they threaten me, I have legal action, legal course. Everybody has this right in the world that you can use as part of the RMA processing. You have these constitutional abilities. And don't forget your drink and snacks, by the way. You have constitutional rights, federal rights, that have been set in place for you. Now, if you're going to use them wisely. Don't BS about it. Be nice about it so you get things done. And if you can't get any headway through these RMA processes, I'm sure they got, consumer services that you can get a hold of that would fight for you in your corner. So don't give up because you paid for a product that was supposed to be 100% functional for a certain amount of years. Don't give up the hope on that. Don't get frustrated with it. Stay the course. Now, this is going to be another thing for you. If you don't want to fight these factories, okay, now, here's another thing for you. If you order from Amazon, they give you a 2 or 3 year their warranty. Okay, that's their warranty. If you don't want to fight with none of these factories about anything, then you can get yourself a 3-year warranty with these companies. That's what I did. I did the smart thing. I got on all my hardware for my PC, I have a 3-year warranty on all the pieces. Every one of the pieces. And then when that expires, then I am going to register all the pieces with the factories. So I get another 2 years. That's the first mistake I made back in, 2001. I get a warranty with the product and a factory warranty. I get 2 warranties. But I seem to took and turn around and did both of them at the same time. Basically, I went online, got the factory warranty, and I already paid for that warranty. And guess what? The factory started my warranty at that point in time. Big mistake. I could have shot myself in the foot when I did that. So, I came to this conclusion. If I buy a 3-year warranty, let's say from Amazon, I let the 3-year warranty go until it expires. And then after it expires, then I go and apply for the 2-year warranty from the factory. So this is to give you a heads up how to get 5-year warranty. You can either get 2 or 3 years from retailers, and then you can get what they call another 2 years. So, let's see. Hello, Anton. Good to see you. Should I be deterred from buying a Asus Prime B450 MAII motherboard for $70? No. You want to know why I'm saying that? Because I got the same motherboard. And you know what? It still runs. For $70 isn't bad. I paid $79. I run mine with the 5600G. It's in that sleeper build. I made a video on that. Look, my motherboards are all Asus. Okay, I got an Asus B450. I got an Asus B550. Well, actually, I got 2 B550s. And I got a B450. All for Asus. But I bought them from Amazon. Well, actually, no. Scratch that. I bought the B550 from Amazon. The Strix B550. And the other B550 for Asus, I got from Micro Center. Just to say. It is decent, but the only thing that I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you, the only thing I really didn't like about it is because it had PCIe 3.0. Overclocking, you can do overclocking in that. That's great. That motherboard will do overclocking, but I just didn't like because it had PCIe 3.0. I wanted PCIe 4.0. I guess I'm just being picky. Oh, player, good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, don't feel bad. I got to drive 6 hours to get to Micro Center, don't you know? 6 hours. So it's no easy peasy here. No, but what I'm coming down to is that everybody is having bad taste in their mouth about Asus. Okay, let me explain something to you. AM5 series has not been the best. AM4 series, on the other hand, and hear me out, AM4 series has been a lot better than the AM5 series. Is because how many times everybody's tested all these AM4 motherboards, all these processors, and everything else. How many problems have they had? Watch the reviews. You'll know. You hear them running off to do an RMA off of an AM4 motherboard, AM4 motherboard, Zen 3? No. So, plus only one PCIe slot after the GPU and no Wi-Fi. Well, yeah, I mean, look, the way I set the B450 motherboard up is you could set it with the graphics card, you could set it with 5600X, decent graphics card like a 30 series NVIDIA card or 6000 series AMD card. Either way, I found NVIDIA to be better with the B450 than I did with AMD. I'm not knocking them, and don't think I'm knocking AMD about their graphics cards. I'm not. They're good for rasterization. Yeah. But with the 30 series, you get a little bit more of a higher boost when you kick everything into full gear, I think. So, but at least the B450 motherboard gives you one advantage. You get a PCIe 3.0 X4 M.2 NVMe SSD. You can plug in an M.2 drive into that motherboard. And in that case, which I already did, I did a Crucial P2 PCIe 3.0 M.2 NVMe X4. Runs great. It ran great. I ran that for a whole year in that motherboard. That motherboard, the B450, I ran that for a whole year. That's what I started my channel with. That's what I started my channel with here. That B450 Asus motherboard. And then the AMD Ryzen 5 5600G. Are you guys surprised that I was using integrated graphics for a whole year to, do my channel? Come on. I did OBS for a whole year on that motherboard. Are you surprised? You shocked? Anything? Come on, guys. You'll be surprised that you'll get some good speed out of it. Don't expect the best of the best of the best, but you'll get some good speed, because with that 5600G, I turned around, I put the RTX 4070 on that motherboard. I didn't get bad FPS neither with the RTX 4070. But you know how NVIDIA works, is if it depends on your processor. The higher processor you got, the stronger processor you got, the more that graphics card will work. So do keep that in mind. Well, you know what I noticed between the Strix B550 motherboard and the Asus Prime B450 motherboard? There's only two things that were different. One, it was the PCIe, the 3.0 and the 4.0. That was two different from the two motherboards. And what I found was the enhancement. Well, no, they had the enhancement in that motherboard too. The Asus enhancements. I really couldn't find that much more different between the two. Other than the VRMs are a little bit different. I think that's got a 6+2+2 or something like that. And the B550 motherboard has like a 12+2. You know, little bit different. So you also used an Asus Prime B550 Plus? No, actually, I'm right now, that's in my computer. I'm right now using Asus B550 Strix motherboard, the B550A, B550-A motherboard, the Strix, with the Ryzen 7 5700X. That's what I got in here right now. Because the motherboard was $169 and the processor was, at that time, was $169. So we got the motherboard for $169 back then and got the processor for $169. Plus I already had the parts, I already had the RAM. I got 64 gigs of RAM in this motherboard. And I've already got the M.2 drive. And I already had the cooler. And I already had the graphics card. So basically the only thing that I replaced was the motherboard and processor. When I upgraded from the B450 to the B550, you know, there's only 2 parts that I upgraded. Everything else stayed the same. So, I mean, I'm gonna tell you like this, and don't get me wrong, I would rather stay with, you know, what I got right now, other than moving up to AM5. Honesty, AM5 I'm not going to touch right now, because if I want more speed, I could get me a 5800X3D, put it into this one here, and be done and call it a day. I won't have any extra problems with VRMs. I won't have any extra problems of catching fire and stuff like that. No, I won't have any of them extra problems. I just think AM5 has been nothing but a problem ever since it came out. That's just my opinion. You know. Okay, let's see. The other one I am considering is the Gigabyte B550 UDAC ATX AM4. You know what I'm going to say about Gigabyte, right? What does everybody say about Gigabyte? I want you guys to leave that in the chat, what everybody says about Gigabyte. Well, actually, it's Ryzen 7 5800X3D. I think it is. Or is it 5? Or is it 7? I thought the 5800 series was 7. I mean... Should I look it up? Just kidding. But yeah, and doing, you know, Anton, listen. If I'm gonna do something that's gonna, you know, future-proof myself, okay? Right now, the AM4 series. Hey Dakota, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. The AM4 series. That's why everybody's staying back a little bit and they're not going forward, is because of the major problems that they're hearing from other reviewers and stuff, like, let's just say Gamers Nexus and Asus motherboard AM5 7800X3D, or was it 7900X3D, and they caught fire with it. That's because the thermal settings were not set at factory. That was the problem. So, but anyway, that's AM5, not AM4. That's AM5. So, I mean, I haven't had experience with them, so I can't really say anything. Player, listen. I've had many experiences with Asus, and they're not as bad as everybody's saying it is. They ain't no better than Gigabyte. They ain't no better than MSI. They ain't no better than ASRock. They're all in the same boat. Just different stories that happen every month with different companies. Like, people don't like Nvidia because of their pricing, and they took and turned around and bashed them hard. You know, or if AMD didn't do something right and put something out, they bash them because they're not putting out high-end GPUs. You know, it's the same song and dance no matter which way you run with it. And now everybody's trying to say something about the RMA process. They all have the bad RMA process. Like I said, Amazon does. Their process isn't that great. And, you know, think about it too. Newegg, Gamers Nexus did something on Newegg about their RMA process. They went after them. This is nothing but a song and dance with that guy. So, really? Does it really matter? I mean, if you play your cards right, that's the information that should be put out there, is how to resolve the issue. Not make another issue and another and another. That's pretty much what I've seen all these videos go out about. Issue after issue after issue. Where's the resolve? Where's the resolve of this? Oh, because you had to push them to get them to do something? Are you sure you were talking to them, not their computer? Come on, man. I mean, I do agree. Okay, Gigabyte is good enough, but there's some things that I've seen in my time, some horror stories about them. And there's some things that I've seen about Asus and their horror stories. You know, I've seen all the bad parts, I've seen all the good parts, and, you know, I really look at it this way. I know what to stay away from. And I bring this up when I do my videos. I know what to stay away from. I tell you the good parts and I tell you my opinions. I tell you my opinions for a reason, because I know something. I don't tell you because I'm going to try, you know, I'm not an influencer. I am a reviewer, a product reviewer. I buy my own products and review them and tell you about it. And I give my opinions on products I don't buy. And the reason why is because I think they're crap. That's the reason why I don't buy them, is because they're crap. You wanted my honesty, I'm giving you my honesty. I told myself when I first started my channel here on YouTube, I'm going to keep it as honest as I can. Is because I don't want anybody to come back and say, you know what, you were lying. I'm not doing that. That's why I say, leave your comments. Let me know what you think. Give me your insight of what's happening with you. And I'll tell you what my experience is what happened with me. So, in game theory, avoiding the worst possible outcome is much better strategy than chasing the best possible outcome. Which is true. Which is true. But when you have the knowledge, you don't need to chase anything. When I buy components to put a PC together, I don't chase anything. Because I already have all the information in front of me, because I do my research before I build my PC. I always say, do your research first, then buy all your components, put it all together, step by step, test, until you come up with a great balance between, you know, your CPU, your GPU, and all your hardware. I come up with a great balance for mine. You don't see me running out sitting there saying, oh, Asus did this, Asus did that. No. Oh, Crucial's not this great. This and that. No, I'm not doing that. One, I already know how Asus motherboards work, especially AM4. Trust me, I have not gone to AM5 yet. This is the reason why, and I'm telling everybody straight up. I'm not going to AM5 is because look at the 8400F they just put out. AMD did. Look at the 8700F they just put out. People are talking about it. And the reason why they're talking about it is because the cache on that way lower than the 7700. The 7700 gives you 32 megs of cache. Where theirs is only the new ones are only giving you what, 28 or something like that. You see me going out recommending to everybody, hey, go get the 8700F? No. Y'all are going to look at me like I'm crazy. I already know this. I already seen this coming. I already seen this future happening. So and I'm not bashing AMD, they just need to step up the game a little bit. When you're going to the next generation, you're supposed to be improving. You're supposed to be improving the product. And it didn't, and there's a lot of reviewers out there that are saying the same thing I'm saying right now. Either you stay with AM4 or you go to the 7000 series AM5. The 8000 series isn't worth talking about right now. They're having problems with the 8700G. The graphics on the 8700G. Now, a lot of people know that. I was going to make a video about it, but the thing is, I don't want people to think that I'm bashing AMD, which I'm not. It's just the truth. And that's what needs to come out, is the truth. These companies need to hear this truth. This is what the consumer is, paying hard money for. They want the real deal. They don't want something that's fake. I know you guys agree with me on this. I know you don't want fake. Seriously. I don't want fake. And I don't want any of my subscribers or viewers to get fake. I don't want you to buy something that's not worth the money. Just like if you ask me about the B450 motherboard, I'm going to be honest with you. It's a great motherboard, yes. But you should think about going up to a B550 motherboard. That's the honesty of it. Because it'll handle more power. You can find B550 motherboards unlocked for a decent cheap price. I know it's not $100, maybe $120 or somewhere in there, but you'll get a decent B550 motherboard between $100 and $120. Depends on, if you want to. For me, I paid for the firmness of the VRMs being at hell, I forgot the name of it. Being able to handle as much power as it can for when I go up to the 5800X3D, or if I go up to the 5900X or the 3950 or the 5950X, stuff like that. I want it to be able to handle all the way up the chain. So this way I don't have to buy another motherboard to go up the chain. That's the reason why I bought it. So, but it does go up the chain. It'll go up all the way to the highest processor for the AM4 series. It's just you have to decide what you want. But the whole purpose of me making the video today, guys, was the fact of the RMA process. Okay? There's a lot of factors that come into the RMA process, but from what I've seen, everybody left out was the fact of they never went to the company to see their RMA process, to see how they deal with their RMA process. Maybe there's something in there that was left out. Maybe there's a good point to it that nobody's seen. I'm not sticking up for any company that gives you a crappy RMA process. They should have everything under control and they should have everything watched at all times. I do agree with this. But if they don't, then, that gives a bad taste into the consumer's mouths. I understand. I respect that. I understand that. They did make an apology. That's good for them. For them to fulfill it, that's another story. But I still think it should go I still think that, if they're going to do a story about something like this, they should go a bit deeper. And I'm going to tell you, as my channel does grow, and it gets bigger, and a lot better, and a lot of everything else, I'm going to tell you guys, I am going to make those visitations. I am going to want to see the backbone of the companies. Because I want to know, from a customer standpoint, what they actually go through. From the time the customer sends it to them, and they go through the whole process, I want to see the back of the house. I just don't want to see the front of the house and what they say in front of us with emails. Emails don't cut it with me. And it shouldn't cut it with you. It should not cut it with you. You should be able to have some kind of direct email to the RMA department, which that's the mistake they made. Hey, Machine, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. They should have had a direct line to where there's somebody that is human on the other side taking these messages. So, I did not know you were going live. Well, no, actually, I said it on Discord, brother. I did say it on Discord. I said it in the local. I was going at around 5 o'clock. I was talking with MTBK about it. And I told him I'd go live at 5. Because I see everybody talking about, Asus and giving Asus a bad way to go. Oh, okay. That's no problem, man. That's no problem at all. But I could see that everybody was sitting there giving Asus a bad way to go, but they didn't know what the process was in the midst of it. Yeah, people make, if you got a computer that's generating these messages and, it has a misconception or some kind of problem to where it gives you the wrong answer, then yeah, I can understand where this problem came about. I bet you it was AI generated, and that's the reason why all this issue came about with Asus. But they didn't state it. If they have an AI generated program doing all the RMAs and sending all the messages like some companies do, then they need to fix their computer. That's the problem. So, bad news sells better than good news. Yeah, I do agree with that. It does. But the thing is the only way you can have great news is if you get past the bad news. And the great news is that I can tell you Asus's products are not all bad. That's the good news. The good news is, at least from AM4 back, they don't really have an issue. Because you can take and see all the videos. And this is the good stuff. You can see all the videos, all the benchmarking done by several amounts of viewers. You can get many of different ideas on the product that's from AM4 series. Even Intel and some of their 12th gen and down, you can get that too. I mean, even 12th gen is not bad. 12900K is not bad. I know a lot of reviewers do a lot of testing with a lot of graphics card with the 12900K. Everybody overlooked that. Why do I use a Ryzen 7 5700X? Well, let me see. It's only 5% less than the 5900X, but the 5900X has got 12 core, 24 threads. Has the same amount of cache, both processors. Difference is core count. That might give it its 5% boost average. But they still run at the same TDP, so what's the difference, right? Why are you going to spend $100 and some more dollars for something that's $100 and some dollars cheaper? Well, you think 12 core and 24 threads going to give you more than 8 core and 16 threads? Not really. People go 16 core 32 threads is because it's content creator work and stuff like that they need more cores to do the processing for when they do the videos and stuff like that. I've been running off an 8 core 16 thread for the longest time and never had a problem. And I do content creator work. You know, I'm patient. See, that's how it works. So, you know, you always look at the bad side and the good side. Always take the good side, because in the long run, in the end, the good side's always going to triumph over the bad. Simple. No matter which way you cut this RMA process is nothing but, you know, you using a little bit of effort to get where you need to be. And if you don't, then report them. You have a mouth. You have the will and way to get your stuff RMA'd. I fought with different companies about getting RMA, but you don't see me running on YouTube talking about it because they all do the same crap. So what's the difference? Yeah, you're right, machine. 6 core, 12 threads is good too. I have a 5600G that will run the RTX 4070, give me almost 140 FPS off of a B450 motherboard. Okay. That's a 5600G, and that's only got 16 megs of cache. So everybody looks in the wrong directions for the wrong things. Everybody's taking the wrong advice the wrong way. Everybody's looking in the backwoods when it's, you know, what they got is better than they think. Some people got processors with 32 megs of cache on it, and they think, oh, it's a bad processor. It's never going to handle the newest graphics cards. They require so much CPU power, and that's bullshit. Oops, I'm sorry. Crap. Didn't mean to say that. Meant crap. Okay. So, patience is a virtue. Yes, you are right, Anton. It is a virtue. If you don't have enough patience and you don't take that time and you don't step back and breathe and work it out step by step, take your baby steps all the way through the process, you're just fooling yourself. You're just trying to rush something to get to the end game, think it's going to happen at the end game, and be impatient, and boom. You get all over the internet telling everybody, oh, this company did this because they wouldn't take care of me. Well, they're not going to do it within the next 5 minutes. So think about it. Yeah, believe it or not, 32 megs is fine, bro. Mine has 40 megs of cache. You know what? To be honest with you, everything that's got 32 megabytes actually has total of 40 megabytes. Believe it or not, between the L1 and the L2. And don't forget the L0. See, this is something they don't tell you that's not shown on the CPU. You still got an L0. You got an L1, L2, and L3. And soon they're going to be coming out with the L4. So I want y'all to keep that in mind as well. Yeah, machine, your 7700X, bro. I mean, you got a great processor. Don't give it up. You can run many of GPUs with that. You can run up to 4090 with that. Believe it or not. If you balance everything out between your CPU and your GPU, you can run a 4090 all day long off of your motherboard. I mean, don't let everybody say, well, you know what, you need a 7800 X3D to run this, blah, blah, blah. You know, what? Because that has 96 megs of cache? Let me give you a little hint. I got the 5600 X3D that's got 96 megs of cache. The 5600 X3D, the one that Micro Center was selling, I bought that. And that is currently running with the 7800 XT. What was it? Yeah, right here. 7800 XT, guys. See? Right here. 7800 Power Color. Hellhound 7800 XT. It's running with the 5600 X3D. And you know what? It has the same speed as my computer here. Same speed. Can you figure that one out? So, let's see. Now that it's undervolted, it runs cooler without little to no performance loss. Which is true if you know how to undervolt your CPU, you don't leave your GPU at stock, and believe it or not, your CPU will hit the clocks all the way from the base clock to the boost clock. And this is where everybody misses it. My computer stays at the 3600 megahertz base clock, but when I use it full force, it goes up to 4750 4.750 gigahertz. Hits the max clocks. Goes from base to max. I left it on auto, that's why. And the only thing I did different was the 3200 megahertz RAM is I set it manually and set the F clock manually. And put PBO curve onto it. Done. Little bit of adjustment for the voltage for the processor because I got it negative clocked, but it works. No performance loss. And that's the thing. This is the kicker. No performance loss whatsoever. All performance gain. So you get less amount of heat with all performance gain. Right now, I'm running at 45 degrees Celsius. Right now. I'm streaming to you guys at 45 degrees Celsius. And my GPU's at 36 degrees Celsius. Believe that. So, don't think that... I'm going to tell you all, Asus is not a bad company. Every company has their faults. We understand that. We understand that people are impatient and impractical when it comes to, just doing one small task. I, on the other hand, understand the value of the consumer. I understand that there's a process you go through. I understand all this. But what people don't understand is they don't have patience. That they want it done like yesterday. Now. It doesn't work that way in real life. In the real world, it does not work that way. You have processes that you got to go through, so you baby step all these processes until it's done. If it takes you 30 days to RMA something, then it takes you 30 days. But do expect it. So, all board partners have their problems, not just Asus. And that's exactly right. That is exactly right. And you know what? They all do. I agree. They're not the only ones. I've seen my share. I've seen a lot out there. Before I even started YouTube, I've seen a lot. I seen friends send me computers that are just like total garbage dumps, and then I got to turn around and rebuild them. So I know the gist. I know the deal. You know, this has been going on since the 80s. That they make one good product and then they put a garbage dump product out there. They go back and forth. They play you like a fiddle. You guys just got to understand that. You get played like a fiddle, don't matter what company it is. It goes from Asus, and then it jumps over to Gigabyte, then it jumps over to MSI, then it jumps over to ASRock, then it jumps back over to NVIDIA, then back over to AMD. You know, don't you see it's everybody's skipping and jumping? I'm surprised you guys didn't think about this and see the light by now. Let's see. You always could go to Gigabyte, Jay. Well, you know what? I could. I could go to Gigabyte. I could go to Asus. I could go to NVIDIA. I could go to AMD. You know. I think they get a company in each here in California. I could. Maybe I make a phone call and see if they'll let me take a tour of their place. Maybe that's what I need to do. Since I got my mobile account and it's active for live streaming, but I have to be monetized in order for them to save the video. Whatever. Mobile is different from PC, just to let you know with YouTube. Okay, when you run your mobile phone and you do live streaming, it won't save until you're monetized with YouTube. Now, on the other hand, with your home PC and you're doing long videos, they allow you to save your live streams. So, I'm just saying. See, but I'm under constraint. I really, you know, truthfully, with all the information I got right here, look, I shave my head every day for you guys. Every day. Because you all say you don't want to see no hair. I take my hair off every day for you guys. And I don't wear a wig neither. I'll leave this on to give you guys the old look. Because you said you wanted the beard, so I give you the beard. You see my point, right? I mean, it's not, you know, I'm just making a very valid point here. I do understand where you guys are coming from. I feel your pain going through these processes. I'm going to give you another story. Okay, I want you to hear this story out. You guys at any time can jump into the chat and, you know, say what's on your mind. You know, you're more than happy to. Just don't swear, please. Let's keep it clean. But anyway, another story. Friend of mine. She plays on a game that I play on. She had a problem with her computer that she bought from Amazon. She turned around. She sent it back to Amazon. And they came up with the weirdest things I have ever heard in my whole complete life. And this happened about maybe 6 or 7 months ago, I think. But anyway, she sent it back for RMA. All she needed to do was get the power supply fixed. That was it. It was a power supply issue. Then they come up with the reason that they weren't going to honor the warranty. And here it goes. 1, you never sent the mouse back. That was 1. 2 days later, you never sent the keyboard back. And then, you know, it goes on and on, this song and dance. You think Amazon would have woke up by now? You really, at that point in time, you'd have thought they would have woke up by now. But they actually didn't. So what happened was, is they kept her on a string for like 2 or 3 months. And all she wanted was the power supply fixed. That was it. To fix the power supply and send it back. Because the rest of it worked. What happened was they refunded her the money. And then, you know what they didn't do? They didn't give her back the money for the warranty. For paying for the warranty. They didn't give her money back for paying for the warranty. Well, if you're voiding the warranty, Junior, don't you think you need to take and pay them back for the warranty? If you're not going to have it for 3 years? And they've only used up 3 months of the time? Oh my God. Well, you know, I mean, bro, the keyboard and mouse would have cost like $5. Yeah, I know it would have. But it's the matter of the point. I mean, when you spend almost $600 on a computer, $600 on a pre-built, and they send you garbage, and then you send it back to get it fixed, and it's under warranty, and they still give you a problem. Do you see my point? It's not just Asus that goes through this song and dance. It's other companies too. These are real stories. These are real deals. So, it is better than losing the cost of the PC. Yeah, it is. True. But she got back 90% of the money. That was fine. She was okay with that. And then she decided to go with a rent-to-own company. So that way you're paying per month and you rent to own your own PC. Any problems, they fix it. Then she ran into a problem there. I feel bad for this lady because she's went through so much with these different companies. I mean, and when you got nobody fighting in your corner, this is the real deal life. And you guys have to understand that. That's the real deal life. When you got somebody that lives on a budget, because she lives on Social Security, right? She lives on a budget. She's only budgeted for a certain amount per month after all her bills and everything else. She don't have that fight to fight these companies to, you know, get something she enjoys fixed. And that's the whole part of having a warranty, is to get it fixed so you don't have this problem. When you get into a car wreck, you don't get your money back from your insurance company. True. But you get it from the other people's insurance company for the simple fact they have to cover you for any collisions. So regardless of who's in the wrong, either or company will cover your damages. So that's the way it works. I should build her a PC. I wish I could, bro, but she's like 2,500 miles away. I really wish I could. But, you know, I get to know people, you know, because there's a lot of grassroots people out here. I really get to know everybody. And it's not easy keeping everybody in my mind. And plus all this PC repairs and all this information and stuff like that. It's not easy keeping that in your mind. There's a lot of things that rolls in your mind, man. And you got to admit, sometimes, you know, you get sidetracked to where, you know, you can't get to everything. So, you got to understand where I'm coming from with that. That's for sure. So, what do you all think about this RMA thing? I mean, and tell me your Tell me what happened to you with it. I'm just going to come out clear with this. What happened to your RMA? Have you ever done an RMA? What's the results in this? That's the reason why I leave the floor up to you guys, and that's the reason why I put in the description. It's up to you guys to tell me your experience. Not so much giving my experience. That's not why I'm here today. I'm here today to hear your experience. This is something different that nobody's doing. I want to hear the viewers and I want to hear the subscribers. I want to hear you guys and what happened to you on an RMA. That's what I want to hear. Thank God you never have to do one. I've done a couple, bro. I've done a couple, and it seems like it's almost close to seeming like it's the same song and dance. Nothing changes. The company might improve, but it doesn't mean that their process improves. No, the process never improves because how they save money is how they screw people. And that's the truth on that too. There's no honest companies out there. Never has and never will be. As long as I've been doing this game, ain't never been no honest company nowhere. I surprisingly haven't had one to do yet. Well, you know what? Player, be happy that you didn't. That means the products that you're buying reasonable. See, that's the good thing. If you're buying reasonably, then you won't have this issue. If you buy responsibly and do your checks and balances, you'll never have this problem. And like I told you all, and I'm going to tell you all again, the reason why I'm not going to the AM5 series is because for the simple fact, I don't trust it. I'm being honest with you. I don't trust it. After hearing all the horror stories and everything else with the AM5 series, I think what's best for me and my channel, with all you guys, stay on AM4 for a little while longer. I don't know if you feel me about that, but I feel that the prices are cheaper. I got 64 gigs of RAM in my computer for $130. 64 gigs of RAM for $130. Go get AM5 RAM and pay $130. You're not going to get 64 gigs. Think about it. My AM5 has not had any issues in the past year. Well, you know why it hasn't had any issues is because the motherboard and everything that's built for your computer machine is matched. It's matched to the perfection. That's why you haven't had a problem yet. Wait until the new Ryzen AI series comes out. Then when they stop doing the updates for the motherboards for the ones that don't have the AI series, that's when you start to worry. Dakota, I RMA'd Corsair RAM, Corsair PSU, and Corsair water pump. All went extremely well. I have RMA'd an MSI Godlike motherboard that I bought second hand, and they still replaced it. See? My buddy had an Asus Z390 motherboard that was DOA out of the box. They refused to RMA it and told him it was user error. Really? Wow. Did they test it or something like that? I, I mean, I don't know. I know. I mean, I can see it happening, bro. I can see it happening. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's just like with Amazon. They did the same thing with that one lady. They found excuses. Look, no company's a saint. I can tell you that. Don't matter who it is, don't matter what it is, they ain't no saints. I already know this. So, I'm not sure he was going to have me build the system. With the 390? Ooh. How old was the motherboard, man? That's the question. How old was that motherboard? I know it had been a little bit old. A 390. That was back like what, 4 or 5 years ago? If I remember right. See, I'm getting older and my age, my memory starts slipping on me. You guys are going to have to keep up with me on that. I think it was like, what, 4 years ago? I can't remember. Damn. But anyway, y'all know what I mean, but I could tell you the best motherboards I had right now are the ones I have in my system. Out of all the motherboards that are on the market right now, this is the only comprehensive motherboard that I've ever found that was the easiest to undervolt, the easiest to use, and the transitioning was nice and smooth. I mean, to me, it was just. I mean, you gotta see it from my point of view too. So, pretty sure it was 5 years ago. Yeah, I think it was too, man. But just like with the B450 motherboard I had, that's from Asus. It's a Prime B450 motherboard. I enjoyed that one too. But with that B450 motherboard, I had to update the BIOS manually, and I didn't really care for that updating the BIOS manually thing, but it wasn't that hard. You know, just a USB stick, the right firmware, and you'll update it nicely. So, not unless you want to keep it first gen or second gen. Then you don't need to update the motherboard, the BIOS in the motherboard, if you're going to keep it first gen or second gen. But third gen, you have to update the BIOS. So just keep that in mind too. Not unless you got a previous CPU like a, what was it, 3900X or something like that you can take and plug in, and then, you know, you can go inside manually inside to the BIOS and set it up and go from there, and then plug in a new Zen 3 processor to it. That's up to you, but I think them B450 motherboards run good on a 5600X, even a 5700X maybe. Which I've already tested, and it seems to run pretty good on a 5700X. And I just love how they say, well, you know what? It won't run on it because it's PCIe 4.0. Don't you know that the processor will downclock to a PCIe 3.0? To the motherboard, it will downclock. But it don't downclock that much, but it'll give you a little bit more horsepower on the B450 motherboard. I know somebody that's got a 5800X3D on a B450 motherboard. A 5800X3D. So, all in all, I'm just going to say like this. Don't count Asus out. Y'all didn't tell me what you thought of the thumbnail. Y'all didn't tell me what you thought of the thumbnail. What do y'all think about my thumbnail? Was that pretty cool or what? I thought it was pretty cool though. Let me see if I can bring it up. See. I'll bring it up real quick for y'all so y'all can see it. I thought it was pretty cool. Okay, let's see. Background. Okay. Let's do this. Let's switch all over to the action screen. There, now you can see my classroom. I wanted to show you all this. I wanted to show you all this. Is that weird and wacky or what? I thought it was pretty cool myself. You gotta give me some credit for some creativity there. But I thought it was pretty cool. So, I know, I left it as is. It just went as is. I mean, I just had to. I mean, to me, it sounds crazy. And you have to understand that. This RMA thing, everybody's going to have their issues, but you bring in your dirty laundry up on the internet, you're going to expect a little bit of backlash from it, especially when they attack companies that, they all have their problems. I just don't get it. I really don't. I don't get it. I'm not attacking no companies over this. I'm just saying they're all in the same soup. And we're all swimming in the same soup. I mean, come on. Get your ladle out. It's all full of BS. Get your ladle out. Let's see. It's so weird and wacky. Yep. That it is, player. As someone whose wife is a graphic art, I have to say I don't like AI art. I'm just doing it because somebody told me my thumbnails suck. I'm doing AI art because somebody told me that. So I'm doing, I mean, if a computer's, well, believe it or not, a computer only did 3/4 of this thumbnail. I did the rest. So. It is very unique. Well, Dakota, I'm just saying it like it is, man. I mean, I want people to come to my live streams. I want people to subscribe. I'm doing everything I can to improve my situation here. And I'm just going to tell you all, I have no sponsorship on my channel. I have no affiliate programs. I have no stores. I have no Patreon. Well, I do have a Patreon, but nobody's there yet. I haven't set that up, so no, I have no Patreon, basically. I have a couple Instagrams. I have Twitter. I have maybe a Facebook. Who knows? But I'm just telling you guys, look, this is my main channel. This is where my main focus is. I have 2 other channels, but those are just, one's for my mobile phone. Let me grab it. right here. One's for the mobile. And one, I'm just putting games on it. I'm, playing games and I'm putting it over there. So that way, I don't have to leave it here for you guys. You can go over there. The graphics card nightmare episode 76 thumbnails is amazing. Oh, you like the 76 one? Oh, let me look. 76 one. Let's see. Jeez. I'm trying to remember. Was that last month? I bet you that was last month. 78. Yep, that was last month. So we go to last month. 77. We're getting close. 76. Oh, you like that one? Well, no. You mean this one? You mean this one right here? 76. Okay. Graphic cards. You caught that, huh? I've been sliding that in once in a while. On and off. Cause sometimes I feel this is what's happening when it comes to the graphics cards. I feel sometimes it's sliding down that bad slope and then coming back up to normalization again. And then when I feel it sliding off, I put the graphics in there. That's pretty much what I was feeling, Going to use the motherboard thumbnail I made for you. Yeah, I am. That I'm going to look at, and that did you send it to my my main account, or did you send it to my mobile account? Got to send it to my main account so that way I can take and copy and bring it to my computer. If you didn't send it to my main account, send it to my main account, bro. It's kind of weird having two accounts on Discord. Yeah, I know. One's for my main computer, one's for my mobile. So I could talk to everybody either way. When I'm here on the computer, I can talk to everybody on the computer, and that's how it goes. Yeah, me neither. I'll have a look and see which one it's on, then I'll let you know. I'll have a look after the stream. So I'll have a look then. But anywho, does anybody else have any RMA issues? Make sure you speak up into the chat. The mic is all yours. I give you that go ahead. Say what's on your mind and I'll read it off, and you'll be recognized. Anybody? It's like with what was it yesterday on the live stream? User benchmark. I left the mic open for everybody. One person showed up. Guys, when I do these live streams, I'm trying to figure out what time to do these. I really need your help on that. Please leave me a message on the video what you think the best time is. Because I really want to nail this down so I'm on here so everybody can, get into the action on the video, on the live stream. Is it better for me to do it after 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night on my time? Got to get ready for work, Jay. See you on Discord. But, few things on there. Thanks everything, Jay. You're welcome, man. You're welcome. No worries. User benchmark is fun for Intel and NVIDIA stuff. Yeah, I know, Dakota, I know. Well, I run AMD. I have an AMD processor. I don't see where the problem is. Maybe because I don't get into the point system and look at all the, the goods and the bads and who gets the best points and everything else. Maybe I'm not doing that for a reason, is because of these arguments everybody has over who has the best points kind of thing. If I started doing that and I really started building a hardcore PC, everybody would start getting upset with me because my PC is going to be outrigging everybody else's. I mean, I really don't want to do that. No, what I heard was this. The creator of User Benchmark is one guy. He got out there, started running his mouth about AMD. This is what I hear. He got out there, started running his mouth about AMD, and then there's a lot of AMD fanboys that really didn't like it that much, and they went and jumped his case. And then he started making idle threats. And this is how it spun out of control. So that's how that came about. That's what I was listening to. I think there's a test made. I think there's test is made favor for Intel and NVIDIA. Well, if it was made in, now understand this, Dakota. If it was made in favor of Intel and NVIDIA, how come when I ran their program, my NVIDIA graphics card didn't come up? If they're in favor with Intel, NVIDIA and Intel, even my AMD processor showed up, all my RAM and everything else showed up, just the graphics card didn't show up. Is that in favor of NVIDIA? If it didn't show up, there's a problem on their site with their algorithm. I'm sure there's no problem with my computer. So, you see my point, right? It's their algorithm that's got the problem. It's who wrote the algorithm, that's their problem. I only use User Benchmark to see the stats on my PC that you can do online. My PC. And an alternative PC, which would be an upgrade from what I have now. That's the only reason I use it. I don't use it for points or, benchmarking or anything else, because I know it's not going to give me an absolute answer. I already knew this. That's the reason why I use OCCT, Prime 95, Geekbench. You have many different benchmarks out there. You have Cinebench R23, you have HW Info, you have GPU-Z, you have CPU-Z, you have many different benchmarkings out there. You have Heaven Benchmark, you have many of them. Many of them. I'm just clarifying, User Benchmark I don't use for total benchmarking. Because I know their online site is going to be pointless. The only way you're going to get a true benchmark is if you're running the program on your PC. Because now it's embedded to your PC. It's dedicated to your PC. So it'll give you an actual result. I know this. So. You got to get Cyberpunk 2077 for the benchmark. Yeah, I do. Believe it or not. Yeah, believe it or not, I do. Yeah. I do agree with you on that. I really do. I've been thinking about it. I really have, brother. I've been thinking about it. But I've just been hearing a little bit of horror stories, too, about the company that made it. You know, about certain games that people are like, what they say, EA games. People are starting to get a bad taste in their mouth with EA games. Or is it just EA Sports or something like that? Something I've been hearing along that line. Some things that I hear that, you know, that some companies are giving away free games and stuff like that. And then when you find out those free games that they're trying to give you are not free games because they're selling your information. Not like what? Epic? Read the fine print. I read the fine print with Epic. Epic Games. They sell your information. So when you're a content creator and somebody's selling your information and they have access to your computer to where they can get in and read your information, they're worse than Microsoft. Think about it. They can do it. They have it on their policy. Based by CD Projekt Red. Okay. It's made by CD Projekt Red. Okay. Well, and who's that owned by? It's got to be owned by somebody. They got to be sponsored by somebody. I'm just saying, you know, when you guys purchase games, be careful. One, they're saying, and this is what blows my mind. This is what really blows my mind. Is they're saying some of the Steam games, people can hack into them and try to sell you something and take control of your account and your bank account and everything else. I've been hearing that too. So like I said, RMA process out the window, even with Steam. You'll think you'll lose your account within, if you're not paying attention to what game it is. And, you know, if you don't know anything about it, and it's, you know, guys, they got to fish these problems out. They really do. These problems have to quit. It's just, oh, they're independent? Well, that's a good deal. At least they're, you know, if they can keep a secure site, bro, that's all that matters. That's the problem right now. You don't know if you know, buy a game and turn around, you get hacked. There's a lot of news about it right now, so keep your eye on what games that are being hacked out there. Look, if Intel can be hacked, MSI can be hacked, Microsoft can be hacked, you know, and even Asus got hacked. And Gigabyte, they all got hacked. ASRock, they all got hacked. And you know what? Even Steam got hacked. Nothing's safe on the market. So, but trying to keep your computer safe, these are good points to take in consideration when you are playing your game. I'd rather go back to the old school way when it comes to playing games, where everything was on your PC. But since these games are so big that they take up between 8 to 10 to 12 terabytes, that's the reason why they keep them on their servers, is because they're that big. Oh, you only get gigabytes, but you know, bro, these companies got 4 firewalls on their stuff, and they still get hacked. No matter how many firewalls you have, people will get past them. It's like a bridge. You take a rope, you throw it across to the other side, and you climb your way over. That's pretty much what they do. That's my future project. Build a firewall. Yeah. Well, you got one on Windows. You want another firewall, you can get one on your router. If you want another firewall, you can put it in between your router. You can have as many firewalls as you want. You can put them you can put it 6 routers in line until it gets to your computer, and all of them have firewalls. That's about as safe as you're going to get right there. You need 6 routers with firewalls in order to keep your computer safe. And by the time you get to where, you get the information and you play on the internet, your speed's running at maybe about 20 megs per second on the download, maybe 1.5 meg on the upload, and nothing's safe and secure now these days. I hate to say it. Big company has huge amount of hackers. You will only have a few statistically. Yeah, well, statistically, yeah, I've already had my share. Trust me. I've already had mine. And I know we all have. But I want to know. Oh, this is what I want to do too. I'm going to do another pop-up live stream in a day or two, just to give you guys a heads up. I'm probably going to do another 5 p.m. probably Wednesday. So keep your eye open for a 5 p.m. on Wednesday as well. I never had a virus or a hacker on my system ever. Yeah, but I have, because for the simple fact I got one because of me using the ISPs, the internet service providers router box that hadn't been loaded with viruses, that they didn't detect it, they didn't clear it out or anything else. They just send you the boxes loaded with viruses because people are already hacked into them, And when you hook it up on your PC, boom, they're already into your system. Internet service providers need to do better when it comes to their router boxes. How I stopped my problem was I got my own router box. That's what stopped my problem. Wait, when I was a kid, I messed up my dad's laptop trying to get a free copy of Skyrim, goofed it up bad. Ooh, damn. How can you mess up a computer doing that, bro? Oh, did you load it from torrent? Is that what it is? One of those torrent downloads? Or LimeWire or something like that? That's really bad, man. I don't touch any torrent sites anymore. I don't even go near those, because they ain't nothing but a virus waiting to happen. I don't download any torrent anymore. I've burned up 4 computers downloading torrent movies and stuff like that, and just wasn't worth it. I know, but if you're downloading Skyrim, it had to have been some kind of torrent that had a virus on it. Yep. It's all good, man. But you learn from your mistakes. You know what I'm saying? You learn from your mistakes. I learned from my mistakes. Even when I make mistakes when I build a computer, if I make a mistake, you learn from it. When you burn something up, you learn from that mistake. I've had my share of problems with motherboards. Pretty much they were used. Used motherboards you have more problems with than you do brand new motherboards. I've gotten computers where they're all used parts and they all didn't work. So you have to strip them all out and put in all new parts. I've had my share of that. Me and the used trend, unless you're desperate and you want to build a computer from scratch and, you just want to, dabble into the fact of the first time building, I would suggest to go all used, but just watch who you buy from. Watch there's little things that you watch for. Like, if they give you a wrong name, buy from people that have many reviews on these people's pages. Make sure that you get one with at least 100 reviews. Don't buy from people that got less than 100 reviews. Make sure that it's all positive reviews, 100%. Then you'll know you're buying from a decent person. So, yeah, I don't do much used on my channel like I wanted to back then. Then I can see why eBay had a bunch of problems about, the scalpers and everything else. And they were even scalpers that were scalping 4090s with no GPU dies in them. The GPU processors, they removed out of China and they sold the PCBs. And they were selling them for $700 on eBay. I was like, what the hell? Stuff like that. If you want the honest truth, you're going to get it. I'm going to give it to you. End of story. And there's places that, I even seen people building computers from Temu. Temu. I call it Temu because that's what it sounds like to me, but it's Temu or whatever. People are buying whole computers from Temu, which they're buying them off of what? eBay. They're supposed to be buying them from Amazon. Toasty Bros had that video where they got a whole complete computer from Temu, but they had 2 cards in the box. One was from eBay and the other one was from Amazon. That is shady. Yeah, but you probably built your PC from parts, bro. You probably ordered your parts individually. They sold a whole PC that inside the box had 2 cards. One was from eBay and the other one was from Amazon. So that kind of tells you that maybe they got some parts from eBay and they got some parts from Amazon and tried to sell you a pre-built computer that was half-baked together and said, here you go. That's shady. To me, that is shady. If the parts are good, I can understand it. I can see them buying parts for cheap, to sell cheap on their sites that they have to order from China or that they buy from eBay. But, why say they're new when you're buying them from eBay? Yeah, it wasn't a complete system. I bought the individual parts. Yeah, I mean, I know you build systems, and I know you buy the parts individually, so that's the reason why I said it, because I knew. But for me buying parts from Temu, I don't know. I can't say they're shady, guys. Listen, they're not. It's just where they buy the parts that's, totally different bag. This mic right here is from Temu. This microphone right here is from Temu. And this came with it all for $40. This is the synthesizer board. This all came together in one package for $40. So, but I just decided I didn't want to use the synthesizer board is because, I didn't really need it. I didn't really need the synthesizer. I like the microphone. It was really good, got a really good deal on the microphone. I think so. Well, it'd be like, I'm telling you guys like this, the one that I was using, this is the one I was using for a whole year. Right here. Compared to this. So, you see the point, right? So. But Temu does have some good parts. Don't get it wrong. Just watch what you buy. Jawa. They test out all their parts before they sell them back to anybody in the community. And they test all the parts before they take them in, supposedly. Because you can't sell anything on Jawa that does not work. They get one complaint on you, your account's gone. That's the way they work at Jawa. If you're looking for a safe site to go buy used components that are decent, they sell them. Amazon, just watch. You don't buy refurbished or open boxed unless you observe the open box, like going to Micro Center. And if they got an open box deal, then you can observe the open box deal and you know what you're buying. But on Amazon, you don't know what you're buying, so I wouldn't recommend you go for the open boxed. Just my point of view when it comes to that. Because the RMA process will become harder when you buy used from a different seller other than Amazon. Buy directly from Amazon when you're getting your PC parts. Do not buy third-party sellers. They will not RMA anything. It will be up to the third-party seller to RMA it. I already got stuck one time because of that. And I still got the two graphics cards that I bought from a third-party seller. I already got stuck like that. So, just to give you a helpful hint, just so you know, so you understand, buying from third-party sellers, you're going to have a tough time getting your money back. So, but when you buy directly from Amazon and it says Amazon selling you this product, then you know you can get a warranty on it for 2 to 3 years. Even though you pay for the warranty, you still get it for a couple years. On top of the 30-day return policy, you get the 2 to 3 year warranty. That covers you there. And like I said, do not enable your manufacturer warranty until after the warranty you buy from Amazon runs out. Then you register with the manufacturer for the warranty. I ran into that problem to where you get 2 years factory warranty, but I had 3 years of Amazon warranty. So the only one that was going to cover me for 3 years was Amazon. The factory wasn't going to cover me because guess what? I was under the Amazon warranty. So play your cards right. You want to get a 5-year warranty? Let's say any of your PC parts. You get a 3-year Amazon warranty. You get a 2-year factory warranty. Something happens in 3 years, you send it back to Amazon, and then let Amazon go fight those companies. Save yourself the headache. You might have one little hurdle compared to going and doing it with the factory themselves. The factory themselves don't really they don't care. They just sell the product to the retailers. It's up to the retailers to take the brunt of the fall. So, getting an RMA from a factory is the toughest thing to do. But from a retailer, it's not. Because the retailer can fight for you and get your money back or get you a new product. So let the retailers fight for you when it comes to that. And let them take the headache from them to the factory. Just buy from a retailer that's going to give you a warranty and be done with it. Because I know in 3 years' time what's going to happen is that you guys are going to turn around and you're going to end up selling that piece, that part, within 3 years' time. So you're just going to be passing the torch along to somebody else. So do keep that in mind. You'll find something new and then you'll pass the torch to somebody else and then they'll have to deal with it. And then you get yourself a new one. I mean, that's why they get the new and used market. They got 2 different markets. So it's not hard. Only time a PC part burns up is if something was done in the wrong way. Like if you overclock something and you pulled too much power to the processor and then it turned around and overheated the processor and burned it up. Whose fault is that? That's not the manufacturer's fault. That's actually the user's fault. Not saying it's all the time with the user fault. Believe it or not, it's not. This is the reason why. Asus motherboards have a safeguard. They're supposed to have that safeguard, especially on the B550 motherboards. I know this for a fact because I've already tested the fact of those safeguards. Because I tried to update the firmware for the BIOS with a different firmware. You know what the motherboard told me? It said, nope, no. It's wrong firmware. It will not accept it. I tested that theory with the Asus motherboard. I tested another theory with the Asus motherboard. I overclocked it. Hardcore. You know what it did? It shut down. After it restarted, it shut down, restarted, came back into the BIOS and said the settings were wrong. And that's off of this motherboard. So it wouldn't allow me to go past what the recommendations were for the Macs. So you can see if a motherboard manufacturer puts in safeguards and saves you from spending thousands of dollars out the window because you made one simple mistake, they're saving you money. I know for a fact that's the reason why I did not get rid of this motherboard yet, is because I know it's safeguarded. In certain aspects, even if I overclock the RAM, it will still go back into the BIOS and say the settings are wrong. If I overclock the CPU too high, it'll bring it right back and it'll say the settings are, you can't use the settings. Because it has what they call thermal protection. So, it has protection in the system. Now, if you turn that off and you do what you're not supposed to do and think it's going to make your computer run faster, it's not. That it is not going to make your computer run faster there, ladies and gentlemen. What makes your computer run faster is when you can keep the heat down. I'm going to give you the help. I'm going to give you the help right here. When you can keep the heat down to a low minimal, keep the clocks up, and keep your RAM at the best speed possible. I run my computer at 3200 megahertz with the F clock at 1600, which is 3200 divided by 2 is your F clock, giving you 1600 megahertz. And that's on the Asus motherboard. I do not use DOCP. Some people, that would be Expo now on AM5. I don't use that. I don't use XMP. I set manually. I learned my computer and set everything manually. You get a better performance rating when you set it manually compared to when you set it with, you know, XMP and DOCP and, you know, all that turned on. You really don't need it turned on. When you set it manually, you don't need it turned on. You leave the clock, you leave the fine tuning, you leave it on auto. You just change the main clocks. I mean, it's so simple now to how to clock a motherboard. It's unbelievable. That's the reason why I liked Asus motherboards so much, is because they're easy to clock. I undervolt mine. I run mine at low heat, and mine's been staying at 46 degrees Celsius, 45, 46 degrees Celsius for over 2 hours. Stayed steady at that degree of temperature. My CPU processor stayed at that degree of temperature for 2 hours. And now running that at 2 hours like that, you got to admit, that's pretty good. That's because I undervolted the processor. The processor runs less power, less heat, and I get maximum clocks. Base to boost clocks. I get the maximum clocks. So, you guys have any questions or anything's on mind? I see the chat's not moving. You guys must be kind of formulating something here. Unless you're just think about what I'm saying. That's pretty cool too, you know. So, what you guys got on mind? I want to see the chat moving, so I know you guys are still breathing over there. You know. Oh, wow, we did 2 hours already? Jeez. I don't mind. 2 hours is 2 hours. I can do that in my head. You guys got any questions or anything about the RMA process, or, you know? Oh, we get a question. Player, let's see. Does anyone else... Lock most games at 30 FPS. Actually, no. Some lock their games at about 120 FPS. Some lock it at 60. Me, I just leave mine open. Full FPS. Because it's not going to matter if you lock it or you unlock it. It's still going to be the same response. I've tried it both ways, and I seem to get the same response. So I don't see the difference. At work driving a forklift, can no longer text, but I'll be listening. Oh, that's cool, Dakota. It's all good, bro. It's all good. As long as you're listening, that's cool. But player, you can lock your FPS at 30. You can lock it at 60. You can lock it at 90. You can lock it at 120. You know, I don't lock mine. I don't lock mine at all. And this is why. Because you lock it, you unlock it. The only reason people lock it is because then there's a stop. Then your graphics has a stopper. It has like it's like a breaking point. So basically, when you're going through and you're playing your game and stuff, there's a break point. It stays at a continuous 60 FPS. So what your computer's doing, it's reading a continuous stream, and it's keeping you balanced at 60 FPS, other than running wild on your FPS. So basically, it's a break point. Basically, your computer's keeping it steady and working hard to keep it at that 60 FPS, so you're not stressing your computer out trying to play your game. So that's the only reason they put the break in there. But that's up to you if you want to play it that way. Most of my games I play over 200 FPS with no problem. I really don't pay attention to the FPS much. It's because sometimes I don't even turn on the MSI Afterburner, the little thingy there, to watch my FPS. Because it takes up part of the screen. So, but I can tell you, playing at 200 FPS or playing at 60 FPS, I don't notice the difference. But I'm on the 4070 too, the RTX 4070. So even though everybody says, well, don't get an RTX 4070, it's crap. You know how many times I've heard people say that? But keep coming back testing with that. Don't believe the hype. I can tell you, I've been running this 4070 for over a year. And with my testing and everything else, it still runs above 200 FPS solid. And I've been testing it for over a year plus. And I'm running it on a 5700X AM4 motherboard. Like I said, you get one or two people out there to say, well, I'm running AM5 and I don't get 200 FPS. Well, then what'd you do in your BIOS to make it happen that way? You know? If your CPU's not running correctly, your GPU's not going to give you the support. Your GPU's just a support tool for your CPU. And if they're not balanced, they're not going to work. They're going to give you a crappy FPS. They're going to give you game stutter and everything else. And then you're going to be like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? Well, then fix your BIOS. Don't rely on Ryzen Master to be your savior. It's not going to be your savior when it comes to AMD. Because you got to take those test results and you got to put it and permanently lock it into your BIOS. You can't just, every time you start up your PC, it's putting that jitter that's on your processor. Is because that Ryzen Master keeps kicking into play, and and it's prolonging the startup of your PC. This is the reason why I don't use Ryzen Master anymore. And plus, it's hard to take out of your PC. It's almost like a virus now these days. Now you all know why I don't use Ryzen Master. Why do I need Ryzen Master for? Let me give you an idea why I don't use Ryzen Master. Let me go and open up this program here. This is an Asus program. There. Y'all see me flash. Flash, flash, flash. Okay. Now, let's go back to the action screen, peeps. Now, you see this right here? This right here. This is Asus's program. The Asus Suite 3. Which you can do a lot of things with it. You can set up your CPU right from here. You can set your fans for your BIOS right from here. You can set your VRMs right from here. This says 0 on my fans is because I have no fans connected other than the pump. The AIO pump, cooler pump. That's all I got connected. I don't have any fans connected to this. Because guess what? All my fans are here. They're remoted. Not on the motherboard. See, my CPU, 39C right here, guys. 39C. You know, look at the CPU core voltage, 0.86 goes up to 1 volt. Isn't that cool? And I'm only running at 3.7 gigahertz, and I'm live streaming to you guys. Come on. So, plus you can do many things here. Many things you can do with Asus. And you know the funny thing is, all this is for free. Asus gives you the whole programming. Gives you everything for free. Gives you free screensavers. Gives you a live background wallpaper. Live background wallpaper. There's a lot more to the motherboards than you all think on AM4. So, you'll be surprised. And, you know, I noticed this with MSI and Gigabyte and all them. They don't go to the lengths that Asus goes to. You know, I do like the live background wallpaper. To where, you know, the background comes to life. And that's controlled by the motherboard. Through the different different animations. But it doesn't take up resources. They got a lot of positive things that's built into these motherboards. You guys can shoot yourself in the foot all you want. I'm going to tell you that. You go and buy a different motherboard from a different manufacturer company, you can go shoot yourself in the foot. I've already made my decision where I'm going to buy my motherboards from. And, you know, even though that you hear all this garbage on the internet, they still got some products that are great. Okay. These people that do all the testing and everything else, what do you call them? Oh, reviewers or something like that? That's what you call them, reviewers? Or influencers or whatever? Oh, I'm a reviewer, but I'm not an influencer. I'm just telling you my experience with the product. I'm not going to suggest to buy it, but I'm going to tell you my experience. And look, I ain't gonna lie to you about it. I ain't got nothing. I'm not gonna lie to anybody, because what do I got? What I got to lose? Everything. I got everything to lose if I lie about a product. You guys should know this. This is common sense. I'm not gonna lie to you about the product. I'm the only one that's gonna be the most honest person that's here on the net about these products. If you say, hey, Jay, can you go and check on a product for me, blah, 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 this, I'll go check on that product. I'll tell you what I think, my opinion. I'll tell you if I would buy it or not. If I told you I wouldn't buy that product, then that should give you a good indication not to buy that product. Just saying. Just saying. If because there's things that I do know. And I want to give you that heads up. There's things that I know about the background. I do have friends in the background that do continuous testing from a different state, but I know they're not going to lie to me. I get my information from 3 different parties, which it's solid information because I know the people. Been there, seen it, and done it. And plus I take my own information that I get from building the product and testing it and telling you all about it. But if I haven't tested it, I'll give you my opinion on it and tell you what I think about it. After I do my research, I'll tell you what I think about the product. If it's going to be conclusive or not. I can tell you right now, the 50 series graphics cards from NVIDIA. Right now, I'm sitting inconclusive with them. That 5080's got me bothered. Especially when they're streamlining it for China. What's that going to do for us here in the United States? They're streamlining it. Everybody missed that point. They're streamlining the 5080 just so it can go through the FTC and get approved to be sold in China. And they're gonna, when they go to sell that product here to the United States, we're going to get the same crap. We're not going to get the original that should be. We're getting the has-been that's what theirs is. You get what I'm saying? We're getting the has-been crap. The leftover. That's what makes me think leftovers. Makes me think they went to their fridge and they just pulled out some leftovers and said, here you go, pay for it. It bothers me. Especially when they're going to hold off the 5090 and sell the processors over there for accelerators. That's what I hear they're going to do. Then why do they need to streamline the 5080? This doesn't make sense to me. I'm getting 2 bits of mixed information between the 5090 and the 5080. And I get 1 bit of information about the 5070 that they're not going to sell it. They're just going to go down to the 5060 and the 5050. That's what I heard. And then next minute, they're doing the 5070. I mean, take everything, take these rumors and leaks with a grain of salt until you got down to the exact information, guys. I'm telling you, that's what I'm waiting to find out. I'm not going to say too much more on it. You haven't seen too many videos from me about the 50 series graphics cards. You haven't seen too many videos from me about the 9000 series AMD CPUs, which they're going to be calling Ryzen AI 9 for the 9000 series. You haven't seen me put too much information out about the 8000 series graphics cards, which they pulled back and said they're not going to sell them. You see my point? There's things that I know that I do and I tell you guys about, and this is the real deal. It's bag of mixed information. This is why I've had tons of emails right now asking me, what's going on? What's going on, Jay? What's going on? Look, guys, from what I'm hearing from my sources and what I'm hearing from other people on the internet and everything else, it's a big bag of mixed crap right now. Until Computex. It's a big bag of mixed crap until Computex. So we don't know what's going to happen until after Computex. Which I wasn't invited. Like last year and this year, they didn't invite me like usual. So maybe one day they'll invite me to go over there. Who knows? So. Alright, guys. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. It's already been almost 2.5 hours. I just wanted to stress out my points of view a little bit to you for you to understand that, just don't be the judge, jury, and executioner on one company. That's all I'm trying to tell you. Weigh your options. If they haven't done you wrong, weigh your options. Okay? And the way I always weigh it is like this. Until the company does me wrong, that's when I'm going to have that last say. But until then, if somebody else is being done wrong, then they have to know how to solve that issue. So it's nobody on the internet that's going to solve it for them. And that's what they're looking for. Somebody to cry on their shoulder about it. And don't get me wrong. We all do it. We all want somebody to lend us an ear. So they listen to what we have to say. It's understandable. It's a human nature. It's understandable. But like I said, don't judge them so harshly. Even though you got one reviewer that said one thing, and then you get another reviewer jumping in saying, oh, he said this, and then you get another reviewer jumping in saying, oh, he said this, and then, you got about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 reviewers. They're all saying the same thing. That's because they're all following the leader. One's saying this, and everybody else is following just for views. It's more or less like saying, oh my God, I got to do this. Clickbait. Sorry to say this. This video here is not a clickbait video. This live stream is not a clickbait video. This is me telling you my opinion. This is me not shining a light on the ones that are complaining. This is something they need to resolve in a private matter. Not blow it out on the internet like a 2-year-old. That's my opinion on that. I'm not going to play follow the leader. I'm not going to kiss anybody's, golden child booty. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be honest and fair to each and every one of these companies that are out there. I'm going to be fair to everybody that has issues with these companies. I'm going to be fair. I'm going to be impartial. I'm going to be fair. And if I see them doing wrong, I'm going to tell them about it. I've always told you guys this. If the hardware is good and the software is good, I'm going to tell you. If they're not doing anything wrong and they're helping you out, I'm going to tell everybody. But if they're doing bad, their software sucks or, their hardware sucks, I'm going to tell you about it. So either way you look at it, I'm going to tell you about it. Somebody jumps into my box, I'm going to do a research on what they're talking about and then make my decision. So far, my decision right now is this. And I told you guys I was going to be making my decision on the description of the video. So this is my decision. I am not going to run around like everybody, following the leader, screaming Asus is a bad company. Asus has not done me wrong. I am not going to do it. I am going to continue with the products that I see that they do very well. And I will say I've tested them. They work really well. And would I recommend it to somebody else? Yes. If somebody asks me what I'm using for my PC, I'm going to tell you. If you ask me how long I've been using the product, I'm going to tell you. I don't jump product to product to product. I do one at a time. I'm testing this product each day. I've been doing that for a whole year. Testing one product, which is Asus right here. Guys, look very carefully. Asus Dual GeForce RTX 4070 OC in this computer that you can't see, but it's in there. Right here. I've been running that over a year plus, and it says Asus name on it. It's never overheated. It's ran very well, very balanced, very good product. Their motherboards, very well balanced, great products. AM5, I am not going to recommend it to you. And I'm not going to test it for at least another 6 to 8 months. And I'm going to tell you why. Until they get the bugs worked out of it between Windows 11 and I'm going to say this, between Windows 11 and the hardware and software, getting it all balanced like they did on AM4, I am not going to go any further until then. Until AMD comes up with a better balance with the motherboard manufacturers, just like Intel. Because from what I'm seeing is that now with some of the processors, the newer processors, you're getting less performance, and it's not worth your money. Some people got a great deal. Some people knew that from the 7600 and the AM5 motherboard to the 7800X, those were the better deals. Machine that was on here earlier, he has a great deal on the 7700X. 7600 to the 7800X. Low TDP, not a hot processor, gives you 32 to 40 megs of cache. You don't need any more than that. Running 96 is if you want to run 96 megs of cache, you're going to be pushing your processor to the max to use up all that 96 megs of cache. But running it normally, you're only using half that. So why buy a $350 processor when you can run the same thing for half the price? This is what everybody's been saying to everybody, but nobody's been listening to this. I'm bringing it to you guys tonight so you understand that. Why do you think people are still using these older processors? Why do you think people are saying, just use a 5900X? Be happy with it. Or a 5950X. Or save yourself some money, just get the 5900X. Or if you really want to save yourself some money, get a 5800X. Or a 5700X if you want to save some money. That's just my honesty, guys. I mean, you can run a 7800 XT with a 5700X or a 5800X, wherever you want to save money, and a decent B550 motherboard. that you can trust. So, but that's my 2 cents for this evening, guys. I'm going to get up out of here. And I do appreciate you staying for the couple hours and having fun with me and everything else. We probably going to be doing this again on Wednesday around 5 o'clock. If I'm free at that time. If not, I will be leaving a big message on the community page, which is, YouTube community page, which you'll get, if you get your notifications on, you'll get a post. So that won't be a big deal. But anyway, if you've enjoyed the video, the live stream video from the beginning to the end, and you stuck around for it, do us a favor and help us out and subscribe. And if you did subscribe, welcome to the family. Welcome to our community. And also, too, don't forget to put a like on this video. Would be appreciated. Hello, MTBK. Good to see you. Good to see you. But we're already 2.5 hours past, my brother. So, alrighty, players. See you soon. And y'all make sure you take care. Be safe for the rest of the evening and try to stay out of trouble and don't do anything I would do. Well, you probably would, but anyway, MTBK, I'll see you up on Discord. Hey, if any one of you guys want to get on our Discord page, let me know. I can leave you a link. If you want a link to it, I'll give you a link so you can get to the page. We'll get you all settled in. On the video, you can leave a message to me and say, hey, can you give me the link to the Discord? Then you'll have about a couple hours to sign into it. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Y'all have a great evening, and we will see you on the next video.